And we've returned. Let's start case 27 of Travel in Time. And we are getting close to the very end. Fountain of Death. So Matthew, let's get up to speed. We've come to medieval Mongolia in search of our time-traveling nemesis, Amon, after thwarting his plans in the 18th century. But he got here first and incited a woman from a Mongolian village to commit murder. Also, we would get accused of said murder when we got there. We managed to get ourselves out of that pickle, but meanwhile, Amon's gone to meet with the Great Khan. We're still not sure what his ultimate plan is, but it can't be good. Bringing advanced technology into the 13th century will have catastrophic results. Now we're in Karakorum, the newly founded capital of the Mongol Empire, and we hope to speak with Ogadai Khan before Amon does. Matthew, remember I told you I was part Mongolian through distant ancestors? Well, I'm actually a direct descendant of Ogadai Khan. I would have said it earlier, but I didn't want to brag. But you brag about your family's mansions and yachts all the time. I guess you're right. Anyway, that's super cool. Let's head to Ogadai's palace. Oh, and let's not forget the camel we brought as an offering. Okay, Matthew, there's the Great Khan's palace. Wow, look at that beautiful fountain. Wait, there's a woman passed out there. Let's tie the camel up and make sure she's okay. That looks like the crime scene. Got it. Aha. Some more help. Some more bread. Matthew, this woman isn't passed out. She's dead. She was shot in the heart with an arrow. Look, the arrow's still sticking out of her chest. Amon had already orchestrated a murder in the previous village. Is this another one of his tricks to derail us? We've got to investigate so we can see what we're really dealing with here. That could also help us gain the Khan's trust. Is this a hat? Only rich people would wear something so cumbersome. It looks like it's our victim, which means that Cress might tell us who she is. Let's get cracking on this murder, Matthew. Yes, let's. And a moment, folks, while I get stars. Okay, I got myself 6 stars. Now let's see how we do here. Subutai. The crest on the victim's hat didn't give us her name, but it does show she was married to a certain Subutai. Family crests were merged to signify marriage. Here the wolf comes from the husband, one of the most famous Mongol generals of all time, and the flowers come from his wife's family. If the victim was the wife of a military general, could this be a political murder? We've got to find Subutai to see what he can tell us about his wife. Are you merchants? I don't want to buy anything. I am busy preparing the Khan's next great conquest. Actually, we're investigating a murder, and the victim appears to be your wife. My wife? I have a harem of wives. You'll need to be more specific. Oh, right, different customs. Well, the victim was wearing a blue robe, red hat, looks to be in her mid-40s. Ah, that is Tangzi. She was my eldest wife and my most beloved, mother of 2 of my children. How can she be dead? That's what we're trying to find out. She was found shot with an arrow near the palace. Why was she there? My family has access to the palace and often spends time with the Great Khan in the throne room. Ah yes, the Great Khan. Actually, we were hoping to speak with him for unrelated reasons. The Khan is busy conducting negotiations with the conquered people, but if you solve my wife's murder, I promise to introduce you. Excellent! Matthew, we better have a look inside the palace, since the victim was there. Just before I could lose the times 6. That's why I'm so pumped. Woo! Wow, the Great Khan's palace. You could throw some killer parties in here. I hope Subutai will keep his promise to introduce us to the Khan once we've solved his wife's murder. Okay, the victim often spent time in this room. Let's check out the clues you found. This coin pouch is the same blue as the victim's robe. It must be hers. Let's see what's inside. You're right, this burlap sack looks out of place here in the palace. We can recover the print on it to see where it's from. And let's reassemble this torn paper to see what it is. A moment, folks, while I get some more stars. Okay, now we're going to get these out of the way. Got myself up to 12 stars. Ooh, nice. Chained coins. Matthew, these coins are different from the others in the pouch, and it looks like they're strung on a bracelet. Hey, the coins have portraits on them. This is Tangzi, and that's Subutai, her husband. Which means the second woman is probably another of Subutai's wives. The name on the coin translates to Yang Dai. We better talk to her. Yang Dai, we need to talk. We found Tangzi murdered in front of the palace earlier this evening. Tangzi is dead? Does Subutai know? Yes, and he wants us to find the killer. We found these coins depicting the 3 of you. How many wives does Subutai have? We are many, but Tangzi was the first, the eldest. She was curious about the workings of the palace and overly ambitious. example, the construction of the silver tree was Tangzi's idea. You mean the fountain in front of the palace? That's where we found her dead. It was her pet project. She believed a fountain that dispenses libations would make Karakorum famous. Libation? You mean that fountain pours alcohol? Tangzi was a genius. Well, it looks like being a busybody got Tangzi in trouble. It's safer for us wives to keep to a simple domestic life. Of course, the scroll you found is written in Mongolian, but these arrows definitely imply a connection to our victim. We better send it to Penelope. The burlap sack. Camel logo. Okay, so there's a camel and some text stamped on this bag. It's a name, Ayanchin. He must be some kind of merchant for the palace. Let's find him. Greetings, fellow merchants. Can I interest you in any wares? Thank you, no. We're actually investigating the murder of General Subutai's wife, Tangzi. Oh, the general must be devastated. Do you have an idea who did it? We were going to ask you the same thing. What can you tell us about Tangzi and the others at the palace? I only knew Tangzi because she receives my deliveries at the palace. She was always very cold to me. Many people from the palace are. But I guess your credit, she always greeted my horses with something to eat. Well, I have work to do. Good luck with your investigation, and if you need anything, I'll probably have what you're looking for. Well, that's gonna do. I'll see you guys when both of these are finished. So I'll see y'all soon. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the autopsy. Won't have to worry about my class tomorrow. Matthew, I'm really enjoying Mongolia and in the Middle Ages. So fascinating. Unfortunately, it's been murder investigations since we arrived. True, but that's what we do best. Your victim died from an arrow to the heart, plain and simple, minutes after impact. Unfortunately, murder with a bow and arrow means the killer didn't have to be at the crime scene, though they probably weren't far away. But fortunately, murder with a bow and arrow means there was a clue sticking out of the body. That's true. What did you learn from the arrow? I found some bits of meat and traces of veggies all mixed together, but it's not your usual fare, it's budog. Budog is a traditional Mongolian dish. A marmot is stuffed with vegetables and hot rocks, which cook the whole thing from the inside. It sounds delicious. Stuffed marmot? Delicious? I'll pass. More for me then. In any case, this definitely proves that your killer eats budog. Well, when we find the killer, they'll be the ones who get cooked. Yes, they will. Matthew, this scroll is so cool. Written Mongolian only came into use in 1204, which was 31 years ago. That's pretty cool, but what does it say? It says, Tangzi, my arrow aims straight for your heart. Well, that's definitely a threat from our killer. Yes, and the elevated style of the writing tells us that your killer writes calligraphy. The writing's on the wall for our killer, Matthew. Well, Matthew, we made it to Karakorum, hoping to see the Great Khan before Amon. I don't know what Amon wants with the Khan, but considering he's got 18th century weapons with him, it can't be good. Either way, our best shot at being introduced to the Khan is to solve his general's wife's murder. We met Yang Dai, another of Sabutai's wives, who told us the victim reached beyond her station. Subutai kept his composure when he heard the news, but he's a ruthless military strategist. I wouldn't expect him to fall down sobbing. There's more to this case than meets the eye, Matthew. Say, do you think it would be uncouth to take a drink from that silver tree fountain? Just a little sip? Wow, I can't believe this palace has a fountain that dispenses... Wait, what's going on? Gah! Oh gosh. I'm one of those people who doesn't drink wine. And I'll be seeing you guys for chapter 2, so don't go anywhere. And we're back. Let's start chapter 2 of Fountain of Death. And we last left off this one here. Oh no! Did I break it? Hey, there's a trap door over there. Do you think the fountain malfunctioned because someone's hiding inside it? I need to go clean up, but you could head down there and I'll be right back. Leather harness. Here we are. Nice. Got myself up to 5th place on the leaderboard already. Huh, so there's no one hiding down here. But look at that quiver of arrows. You're right, these match the arrows we found in the victim. That means the killer came down here. We better collect some of the hair on that quiver. That jewelry box has the victim's name written on it. We know Tangzi oversaw the fountain's maintenance, so it makes sense to find something of hers down here. Let's get it open. And what's this for? Looks like a harness for a work animal to turn the gears under the fountain. But how did an animal get down here through the trap door? We should recover the engraving on the chest plate. Well, now that we know both the victim and the killer came down here, this pump room certainly deepens our investigation. No pun intended. Moment, folks. Alright. Got 4 of the stars there. So, should be alright. Even though I was technically okay from the beginning. Oh no. That wasn't it. I don't know, it's 5, 2, 5, 2. There we are. Okay. Now I know that's 2, 3, 5, 2, 5. There we are. Let's see, 9, 3, 3, 5, 2. Ooh, nice. So this box with the victim's name on it holds a fancy pair of earrings. Were these a gift from her husband? That doesn't seem right. He wouldn't have written her name in Roman script. Do you think they're a gift from another suitor? Let's get it to the lab and see what Orlando can tell us. Starting to rain outside. Huh, Matthew. According to the tablet, the text on this harness says Wu Ming, property of the Great Khan. Wu Ming? That sounds like the name of a person, not a work animal. Matthew, we need to speak to this Wu Ming. I think that'd be a woman, actually, considering the name, but thank God it's a guy. And I say that specifically because he doesn't have a shirt on. Oh, I only stepped out for some fresh air. I wasn't escaping, I promise. Wait, calm down. We're not soldiers, and we don't wish you harm. We just want to talk. We found this harness under the fountain. Yes, that's mine. They made me wear it to keep me attached to the pump wheel. Then I just walk around and around for hours on end to keep the fountain flowing. Oh, so you're a slave? Yes, I was a Chinese soldier captured by the Khan, but Tangzi's the one who works us to death to keep that stupid fountain running. We understand you're in an awful situation, and it's complicated by the fact that we found Tangzi murdered earlier tonight. Tangzi is dead? Oh no, what if the Khan comes home and finds out? What is going to happen to me? Please don't report me, I better get back to my post. Great, we've got a sample of the hair on the killer's quiver of arrows. Let's get it to Theo. So we're gonna have 2 things to analyze, 12 hours and 6 hours. I'll see you all tomorrow when both of these are finished. Okay, we have come back. Let's get the results of the hair. Theo, what can you tell us about the hair Matthew took from our killer's quiver? The sample of hair is equine in nature. Wait, doesn't equine mean horse? Are you saying our killer is a horse? Or it's more logical that the killer rides a horse. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Matthew, this is the first time we've got a victim from a ride-by shooting. It's especially relevant here, since Mongol men and women alike were extremely proficient on horseback. Well, Matthew, this evidence certainly helps us pony up to catch our killer. And you're right, we already know for sure that the merchant Ianchin rides horses to transport his supplies. Add that to our notes. It is so exciting to be here in Karakorum, Matthew. This place is such an important landmark in Mongolian history. All we know of Karakorum's historic silver tree fountain is in writings from travelers passing through at this time. But here we get to actually see it in person. Yes, and drink wine from it. Who would have thought we'd find a booze fountain here in medieval Mongolia? Yangdai told us the victim was in charge of the fountain, and we found her earrings in the pump room below it. But does that help our investigation at all? Of course it does. The victim's earrings are actually a gift from the man who designed the silver tree, a French goldsmith named Guillaume Boucher. How can you tell? Well, the fleur-de-lis design of the earrings and the Roman writing of your victim's name on the box prove that Monsieur Boucher is the one who made them. Matthew, what do you suppose Guillaume Boucher's intentions were when he gave these earrings to the general's wife? Let's go ask him. Mr. Boucher, we found the general's wife Tangzi at the Silver Tree earlier tonight, killed by an arrow through the heart. Quoi? Quel horror! Was the fountain damaged at all? No, it wasn't. We thought you might be a little more touched by the news. We found these earrings you had given her. Was there something between you? Mon Dieu, non. I gave the jewelry to each of the general's wives to thank them for their hospitality when I stayed in the palace. I stopped here in my travels and was commissioned to make a fountain to commemorate the founding of Karakorum. The Silver Tree is my greatest achievement. And I love this place. The people here are so wonderful. The food is magnificent. My favorite is Budog. I decided to learn the language. I can now write in calligraphy, and it is so different from French calligraphy. I am sorry to hear of Tangzi's death, but you'll have to excuse me. I have much work to do. Matthew, all this talk about the Silver Tree makes me think it'd be good to take another look around up there. Let's go. Whoa, what's this sword doing here? It seems strange that such a fancy weapon would be left lying around like this. That's odd. It seems to be locked in its sheath. We should take a closer look at it. And here's a torn up document. I can spot Mongolian writing, but we'll need to get it reassembled before we'll have any hope of translating it.
Perfect. Now this document is put back together. I see animals drawn on it. This text would take me ages to put into the tablet. Better send it to Penelope.
Got it. Look, Matthew, the crest on the sword. It's Subutai's. I wonder how Subutai's sword ended up at the scene of his wife's murder. Let's go talk to him. Merchants, have you found my wife's murderer yet? We're still on the case, General. We actually found your sword here by the silver tree. I gave that sword to Tangzi to use when I am away. She carried it sometimes when making the rounds. Tangzi was very skilled with the sword, but a sword is powerless against an arrow. Ugh, you have made me restless again. I hoped my calligraphy would put my mind at ease and recenter myself. But now I will be unable to focus on planning the upcoming siege. I am going to eat my boudog. Do not disturb me unless you have found my wife's killer. I'll see you guys when this is finished. I'll have all stars collected by then. See you soon. Okay, we have come back. I've also cut my hair in the meantime. Matthew, this document you brought me is a bill stamped with the refusal. Apparently, the merchant Ianshin delivered a bunch of livestock to the palace. And this stamp shows that Tangzi forbade him from doing further business with the palace. What? But why would she oust him like that? It's not written here. All I know is he delivered a lot of animals, and then she canceled their business together. Ianshin can't have been happy about this. We better talk to him, Matthew. Ianshin, we found this document you wrote up for Tangzi. It appears she fired you from work with the palace. Yes, Tangzi claimed the animals I brought were substandard. I'll admit that I didn't provide palace quality animals. Much of my stock had starved or frozen to death in the recent snowstorms. But then Tangzi proceeded to tell everyone in Karakorum that I was a swindler, and my other contracts started to disappear. Wow, you must have been furious. There's no time to be angry when you're penniless and have to survive. I've been making do with boudog, but wild marmots are scarce this time of year. I try to relax and forget how hungry I am by practicing my calligraphy,
but my hand trembles with fatigue. I should go now. I still have to find food for dinner. Well, Matthew, things have gotten complicated here in medieval Mongolia. We came to see the Great Khan, but we've got no chance of talking to him until we find who killed his general's wife. Tangzi forbade the merchant Ianshin from doing further business with the palace and badmouthed him all over town. And we know that Tangzi's pet project was the Silver Tree Fountain, which she had designed by a Frenchman and operated by a Chinese slave. I really hope General Subutai didn't kill Tangzi, since he's the one who was supposed to introduce us to the Khan. Merchants, what are you doing in my palace? There had better be a good explanation for this. Egads, Matthew, it's the Great Khan. Uh-oh. And we'll get to chapter 3 after this. Don't go anywhere. And we've returned. Let's start chapter 3 of Fountain of Death. Oh, Great Khan, Tangzi was found dead. Her husband, the Great Subutai, has tasked us with finding her killer. Tangzi was murdered? How dare someone commit a murder in front of my palace? And why are we standing here discussing it? Get back to work, and when you find the killer, bring them to me. Yeesh, Matthew, now the Khan himself expects results. The stakes have just gone up a notch. Well, our first order should be having another look at the palace. Okay. Star. And I'd have had it too if I didn't make that mistake earlier. Matthew, this is a diagram of the Silver Tree Fountain. It shows changes to its design. Seems someone wanted to add turtles. Tangzi's signature is here. Let's recover the other markings on the diagram. And this fancy robe is all torn up and dirty. It looks like someone got into a fight. You're right. The style and color is similar to the robe Tangzi was wearing when she was killed. This must be another of hers, but who does she fight with? Let's take a sample of the dirt and see if we can determine where the fight happened, and with whom. And this doll got torn to pieces. Let's put it back together. We've got to hurry up with this case, Matthew. I don't want to see what happens if we get on the Khan's bad side. Moment, folks. Okay, I got 4 of the stars in the crime scene. Oh, this looks like a Tangzi doll. about Tangzi. Oh, this is a little totem. It looks like Tangzi. Yikes, the stomach was ripped open. But why? Let's see if Marina can figure it out. Got it. Great. Now let's get the dirt from the victim's robe under the microscope. Okay. Almost celebrated too soon, but I realize it. And it's wine and mechanical oil. The dirt you collected from the victim's robe was soaked with wine and mechanical oil. That means Tangzi was beneath the silver tree where all the wine pumps are when she got in the fight that tore up her robe. There's only one other person we know who spent lots of time in that dirt too. Wu Ming. Let's talk to him. Wu Ming, what happened to Tangzi's robe? She must have fallen down and torn it. A mere fall can't explain all of the tears and the oil on the robe. I understand, you know, it's miserable being a slave, away from your own country, worked to death by your enemies. We understand why you fought with Tangzi. I admit I dreamt of the day I could knock her out, steal a horse, and ride away from here back to my family in China. She was always ordering me to turn the gears faster, constantly, day and night. I couldn't take it anymore. So once when she walked close enough to me, I lunged at her and grabbed hold of her robe. We struggled in the dirt, but she got away and ran back into the palace, screaming that a punishment was coming. That was quite a risk. It would have cost you your head if she had the chance to report you to the Khan. Good thing she got killed. But I didn't do it. You will not tell the Great Khan about the fight, will you? Please, you must have mercy on me. I may have fantasized about it, but I didn't kill her. Well, he's believable. He's only fit one criteria so far. These comments on this diagram of the silver tree are in French. That means Guillaume wrote them. I still remember some French from when I had to go undercover as a French dignitary. I can tell Guillaume didn't like Tangzi's changes. He says they're impossible, and I know quel affront means what an outrage. It seems Guillaume had some creative differences with the victim, or Guillaume has some creative differences with the victim over the fountain's design. Let's talk to him about this.
folks.
Okay. Mr. Butcher, it seems your collaboration with Tangzi on the Silver Tree's design was difficult. It was not a collaboration. Karakorum's Silver Tree is the product of my genius, and mine alone. The Great Khan asked me to make a fountain, and I made a perfect fountain. He was very happy. But Tangzi wanted changes. Mon Dieu, ridiculous changes. But to change it is to ruin it. She knew nothing of art or beauty. Rien du tout. That's a lot of anger you've got there. I certainly hope you didn't respond by changing Tangzi instead. And I got a final star to collect. So I'll let the totem of the victim run its course. I'll see you when that's done. For now, this is Matthew. Catch you later. Okay, we have come back. Let's get the results of the totem of the victim. Marina, what's up with this doll that we found modeled after the victim? And why is the stomach torn open? As you know, medieval Mongolian culture is highly shamanic in practice. A totem like this would be made to project malevolent forces onto a person. So someone wanted the victim's guts to burst open? No, this opening actually targets the womb, as if someone wanted to make sure she never fall pregnant again. Well, we know Tangzi had 2 kids with her husband, so maybe someone made this totem out of jealousy. Good point, Matthew. We don't know if Subutai's other wife Yang Dai has any children. Let's go talk to her. Yang Dai, can you explain this totem we found of Tangzi? You made it, didn't you? You have to understand, Tangzi was Subutai's favorite. Nothing I did for him ever got recognition. I wrote beautiful calligraphy for him. I made the most delicious boudog from a family recipe, but nothing worked. That still doesn't explain why you'd rip the womb of that little totem. Because that's how she kept him close to her. The last time I arranged for Subutai and me to take our horses to eat a romantic meal in the hills, that dirty cat Tangzi stopped him from leaving, saying her fertility was peaking, and this was their chance for another child. Subutai and Tangzi already have 2 children together, but he and I have no children, and I am good for nothing if I don't provide heirs. So I made the totem to curse her womb. It's my turn. I hope you stopped at making dolls and didn't go so far as to shoot an arrow into her. Wow, I hadn't expected some of the turns this case has taken. Tangzi had some real enemies. For one, the beautiful silver tree was apparently the focus of a heated fight between her and Jilong. And speaking of fights, Wu Ming got in a real physical struggle with her in his valiant attempt to escape his bondage. On top of all that, Yang Dai was violently jealous of how much more affection Tangzi got from Subutai. But it's still not clear who among our suspects actually went as far as to shoot an arrow into her heart. Now that we've got both the victim's husband and the Great Khan breathing down our necks to solve this case, we've got to wrap this up quick. You're right, we found the killer's quiver hidden in the pump room. We should see if they left anything else down there. Got it.
Up to 11th. Moment, folks. Alright. Matthew, you found a bow. We found the killer's quiver down here earlier. I bet a fountain of wine that this is the killer's bow. The wrapping on the grip is unraveling. We could probably get a sweat sample from it. And this bucket of tools looks like a good place to hide something. Let's dig in. Soon we'll have our killer and our key to speak with the Great Khan. Okay, I'm going to do everything real quick and then I'm going to call it a night. Got it. Perfect! Now let's get the sample from the killer's bow to the lab for analysis. A strange ring. This is a weird looking ring. It doesn't look like it belongs in this tool bucket, and it's too big to be jewelry. Still, it's likely it was hidden here by the killer. Let's see if Theo can tell us what this ring is for. And I'll see you guys when both of these are finished. Okay, we have returned and let's get the results of the sweat. Matthew, I got a chance to look at the murder weapon, an exquisite piece of craftsmanship. I would have killed to be able to use one of these in my country club's archery competitions. Well, not killed, but you get what I mean. So what was the sample we collected from it enough to finally identify the killer? Not entirely, but the amino acids from the sweat were enough to tell me your killer is male. Well, knowing the killer is male helps narrow our suspect pool. Now the strange ring. Theo, do you know what this ring Matthew found is for? Yes, I do. You see, unlike the Western style of drawing a bowstring with your fingers, Mongolian archers use their thumb. Their bows are super powerful, but pulling 100 pounds of force would absolutely ruin your thumb. So they use these archers' rings carved from animal horns for protection. Interesting. Well, Matthew found the ring in the same place the killer hid their quiver. That's because it's the killer's ring. I found residue from a meal of Boudog smeared on it. And it appears your killer cut themselves in the rush to draw their arrow, because I found some blood smudges as well. The smudges were enough to prove that your killer has type AB positive blood. Matthew, this time it looks like we'll catch our killer red-thumbed. We gathered our last bits of evidence from the killer's blood and sweat. Now it's time to see their tears as we arrest them. Let's go.
It's not Subutai. It's not Yang Dai. It's the merchant. Ianshin, you're under arrest for the murder of Tangzi. What? Why would I murder Tangzi? If I did that, Subutai would have my head. And yet you did. Had you planned it, I wonder? Or did you just see her sitting at the fountain and decide on the spot to shoot her with your bow? Then you panicked and hid the weapon under the fountain, knowing no one but Boucher and the slave ever went there. If Tangzi didn't take responsibility for her actions, neither should I. You're referring to when she fired you and then badmouthed you to everyone else? It was a long fall downhill for me. First I lost most of my animals in a blizzard, and then I lost my job. What little honor I had left went up in flames. I was going from being a provider of lifeblood to the capital city to being a pariah with nothing to my name and not even a rotten scrap to eat. I begged Tangzi to stop, and she said she would tell the Great Khan of my inadequacy, but if she did that, I would surely be beheaded. So you made sure she couldn't tell the Great Khan. It had to be done. She took everything from me. I had to take something of great value from her in return. We'll see if the Great Khan shares your philosophy, Ianshin. You're under arrest. Ianshin, you have been instrumental in nourishing the growth of Karakorum. Thank you, O Great Khan. But you have murdered the wife of my top general. The repercussions of this act could be equated to high treason. And all because you believed I would cut off your head for selling subpar livestock. I have more important things to be doing than squabbling over animals. Ianshin, you are hereby banished from Karakorum. Let's hope you can find a village that will abide a killer in their midst. I killed to avoid pariahdom, and here I go in exile. You dare question my authority? Perhaps you feel I should improvise a more suitable punishment. No, thank you for your mercy, O Great Khan. How do you like that? We were shooed from the palace as soon as Ianshin's punishment was given. We didn't even get a chance to ask for a minute of the Khan's time. Well, you've got to find a way to approach him again, because we need to find out if he's spoken with Amon. Something tells me the 18th century weapons Amon brought here are wrapped up in this, and that's far from good. Well, we did our part by catching Tangzi's killer. It's time we get to see the Great Khan. Okay. Now we'll go to the Art of War 2.5 after this. Don't go anywhere. And we return. Let's start the Art of War 2.5. And we're coming down to the end of this. Well, Matthew, we didn't get a chance to talk to the Khan about Amon. Our time-traveling nemesis was trying to keep us from fixing history. But Subutai promised he would introduce us to the Great Khan if we solved his wife's murder. I hope he's ready to keep that promise. We haven't seen signs of Amon anywhere, but he got here before us. Surely he's seen the Khan by now. And considering Amon brought a crate of guns with him, nothing good can come from that meeting. Alright, we can't lose any more time. Let's go meet Subutai in front of the palace. Oh, and don't forget the camel for the Khan's present. Merchants, I thank you for solving the murder of my beloved Tangzi. Now I can mourn her loss with the knowledge that justice has been served. Now, are you prepared to have a formal audience with the Great Khan? Yes, we even brought a camel as a present. Great Khan, thank you for receiving us again. We have come with this camel as an offering to you. This is a generous gift. I thank you. There is something we wish to discuss. Do you know of a man named Amon? He is a traveler that we seek. Of course, Amon is a great friend of the palace. He came from faraway Egypt bearing good advice and mighty weapons. He is now away with my army, and he will teach them to make these weapons for themselves. Right, weapons. Did he have any specific plans for those weapons? To crush the Song dynasty, rulers of the Chinese Empire, of course. To crush the Chinese Empire? Oh, that can't be good. Great Khan, that sounds rather rash. Are you certain you want to do this? I will not have foreigners question my decisions. You know nothing of... Great Khan, I am sorry to interrupt, but I have terrible news. Your daughter, she's been kidnapped. What? Torgoljan kidnapped? Who did this? We don't know. She went to visit the fountain, then nearby soldiers heard a scream, and she was gone. I will find whoever dares touch my daughter, and I will make them pay. Great Khan, we are expert investigators, as you have seen. We could have a look and try to figure out what happened. Do what you will, but if I find you are wasting my time, I will have your hides. Matthew Amon gifted his 18th century guns to the Great Khan and won all his trust. This is not good at all. And he's convinced the Khan to use them to crush the Song dynasty. And now the Khan's daughter has been kidnapped. Just what we needed. The kidnapping is an added complication, but we promised the Khan we would help, and this could help us gain his trust to get him to break ties with Amon. Let's head to the time machine and update the others on all of this. So Amon convinced the Khan to attack China. Orlando, what does that mean for the timeline? It's not good at all. That war isn't supposed to be fought for another several decades. China wouldn't be prepared for such an assault right now. Clearly in Amon's eyes, helping Mongolia defeat China means the Ptolemies can piggyback on the Mongols' takeover and ensure their own rise to power. So you're saying that everything we fixed in the Age of Sail will have been for nothing? We can't let that happen. We've got to dissuade the Khan from fighting this war. Our best shot at gaining his trust is finding his daughter's kidnapper. Once you're done with that, Matthew, I have a small request. Guillaume Boucher is an incredible engineer, and I would be remiss if I didn't get to talk to him. Alright, Kai, first we'll search for clues of the kidnapping at the Silver Tree, then we'll talk to Boucher. Had to run to the bathroom, but investigate the fountain first. Matthew, there's a scarf here. I saw a portrait in the palace of a young woman wearing this color. That must be the princess, and she must have dropped the scarf when she got kidnapped. You're right. There's a piece of paper caught in it. Could this be a clue? We need to retrieve what's on it. There's a lot of writing on this paper you found with the princess's scarf. Since the paper was dropped during the kidnapping, it could tell us something about who did it. Let's have Orlando take a look at this. Mr. Boucher, it is an honor to meet you. This mechanism and fountain you built is absolutely incredible. Oh, merci beaucoup. Are you a fellow engineer? Yes, and I happen to be a great fan of your work. Merveilleux, I could use your help right now. It seems the force on the gears running the pump is too great, and one of them is broken. The Great Khan is in no mood to have a broken fountain. And now that Karakorum's principal merchant has been sent away, I have no way of obtaining a replacement gear. We're happy to help, Mr. Boucher. Matthew, to see what kind of gear we'll need, let's have a look around for the broken one. Great, Matthew, that's the broken gear. Do you think you can repair it? The gear is repaired, and now I see why it broke in the first place. It's thicker in one part and thinner in another, which led to an uneven distribution of pressure. But I can make a new stronger gear for Mr. Boucher. Meet me in the lab in a few hours. That'll do for this part. And I'll see you guys when both of these are done. So for now, this is Matthew. See you soon. And we're back. Let's get the results. Matthew, being here in medieval Mongolia has meant one incredible historical discovery after another. This bill is an example of some of the first paper money ever made. That's money? Yes, it was actually the Chinese who printed the first paper money in the 7th century, but it was mostly used as deposit receipts. It wasn't until the Song dynasty when paper currency such as this bill entered into common use, starting in the city of Jiangyang. Wait, you're saying this bill we found caught in the princess's scarf is Chinese? Of course it is. Mongolia won't start using paper money until after they take over China and establish the Yuan dynasty. Uh-oh, Matthew. When the Great Khan hears that the princess's kidnappers are Chinese, he'll never agree to call off his attack. But I guess we don't have a choice. We have to tell him. Oh, great Khan, we have learned more about Princess Torgoljin's kidnappers. Who kidnapped my beloved Torgoljin? We found this bill of Chinese currency by the silver tree where she was taken. The Chinese? I should have known they would attempt to sabotage me before our conquest in China. Oh, it's such a pity Amon is already off preparing my army. Who else can I trust with the task of rescuing my daughter? Oh, great Khan, we are happy to take on the task. But please, for your daughter's safety, call off your attack on the Chinese until after we've retrieved her. I do not usually show such clemency, but the army isn't ready for the siege anyway. But you had better get my daughter back safely. I will now take my leave to join Amon and my army near the Great Wall. I expect you to report to me there once you've rescued Torgoljin. It will be wise of you to consult General Subutai to discuss strategy before embarking on your task. Matthew, it would also be wise to get some food before we talk to Subutai. I'm famished. General Subutai, the Great Khan has tasked us with rescuing Princess Torgoljin from her Chinese kidnappers. The Chinese kidnapped her? Of course! They are trying to weaken our spirit before we break through the Great Wall. Yes, most definitely. So we need to strategize our rescue of the princess. We found evidence that the kidnappers came from Zhangyang. Zhangyang is where the Song Emperor lives. It is a garrison city, which means their defenses are strong there. If you display aggression, they will kill you immediately. You must go there with the air of diplomats and seek out the emperor himself, wolves clothed as sheep. But should you need to defend yourselves, take this bow. It is of fine construction and will help you out of trouble. Hey Matthew, I used the gear you fixed to get the proper dimensions for a new, stronger gear to repair the fountain. You know, if I had heard about Boucher's silver tree before, I would have been obsessed with it. I built all kinds of hydraulic doohickeys as a kid. One summer in Hawaii, it was so unbelievably hot that I rigged tubes and a water pump onto our fridge so I could pipe cold drinking water into the TV room. I wonder if Kai might be named after me, I don't know. So the chance to see this historical example of human ingenuity and meet its creator is really special. Okay, there's no way this new gear will break. Now let's get it to Mr. Boucher. Now let's talk to Guillaume Boucher. Mr. Boucher, we've got the gear to replace the broken one in the Silver Tree Fountain. Oh, merci beaucoup. You are very fast. The Khan will be pleased to have the fountain working again so soon. Let me just go down and install it right now. Well, here's the moment of truth, Matthew. Okay, the gear is installed. Let's try it out. The air bubbles had to escape the pipes. It will just be another moment. It works! Oh, the fountain is as good as new. Merci, Matthew, and here is payment for your wares. Man, Matthew, all our worst fears have come true. Amon did get to speak with the Khan, and he's even become his trusted advisor. And now, thanks to those weapons Amon brought from the 18th century, Ogadai Khan intends to attack and annihilate China. Our best chance of gaining the Khan's trust and undoing Amon's work is to find the Khan's daughter, who's been kidnapped by the Chinese. Well, since I'm related to Ogadai, that means they've kidnapped my great, however many greats grandma. We've got to save her. Alright, but while we're rescuing the princess, we're not keeping an eye on Amon. God knows what else he might get up to. I've got an idea. Kai and Penelope, you guys go follow Ogadai's army to the Great Wall and blend in as best you can. Kai, you're by far the strongest in the team, and Penelope, you're the only one who can fluently speak Mongolian and Chinese. Ooh, spy mission. We're on it. Oh, take Astro with you. He'll be able to communicate with the time machine. Unfortunately, at such a distance, connection is only possible twice a day, when his solar cells are at full charge, but it's better than nothing. Will do. We'll keep an eye on them to make sure Amon doesn't get impatient and trigger the war before we can stop him. Meanwhile, Matthew, we're off to China to rescue Princess Torgoljin. That's the end of case 27. We've only got 4 cases left. September 19th, that's another Thursday. Four new ones. Only one. And I should have figured that'd be 5 new ones. So I'm gonna have to wait again for the next sticker pack. But next time I get a repeat sticker, I'll get another one. That'll do. So I'll be seeing you guys on September 19th for case 28 in Travel in Time. I'll see y'all soon.